warriors of his Imperium must be armed and armored to best the blighted enemies of humanity. The Emperor's finest warriors, they must be of iron will and steely muscle. In great armor shall they be clad, and with the mightiest guns be armed. The bulwark against the terror, the defenders of humanity must be equipped with the sturdiest of armor to defend his Imperium against the ruinous powers. Able to withstand his enemy's mightiest champions and brave the onslaught of war without fear. For the angels of death, there is no substitute for their shield against the darkness than power armor. For millennia, the champions of the Emperor of Mankind have employed many forms of ceramite power armor, unyielding in its duty to protect its wearer from damage and environmental threats. Beginning with its original design iteration, Thunder Armor. Utilized by the brutal yet ill-fated Thunder Warriors of Terra, the retrospectively named Mark I Legiones Katanas armor design proved crucial in winning the Emperor's war against the Techno-Barbarians of the Unification War. Continually improved during its service as more of Terra's lands were conquered, Thunder Armor protected the hulking user's vital organs and torso from small arms fire. With little to no armor from the waist down, Thunder Armor proved suitable in waging war on Terra. Though most configurations lacked greaves or boots, Thunder Armor utilized bulky chest plates to shrug off small arms fire. Lacking atmospheric protection or life support systems, this non-sealed armor variant would be near useless if applied to the Emperor's wider campaign to reclaim the stars. With its backpack power supply utilized only to cool the wearer from the armor's thermal venting. And with the culling of the Emperor's flawed tools of war, a new breed of warrior would rise from the ashes of Terra, the Legiones Astartes. The Imperium would begin its great crusade across the stars and would require armies of warriors capable of fighting in any environment. And so, the Mark II Crusade pattern of ceramite armor would be built. Protecting the user from radiation, harsh atmospheres, and with an enclosed supply of oxygen, the Mark II would pave the way for all power armor to follow. Utilizing articulated hoop-shaped plates to protect the wearer, and helmet autosensors to generate visual and audio feedback on battlefield data, Astartes could employ neural interfaces to view infrared and ultraviolet light and enhance or even dull sensory stimuli. Ergo, enhancing pertinent environmental data or reducing noise from explosions and audio feedback that would otherwise damage the user's hearing. The backpack would now power the suit entirely and provide medical and life support functions. Yet despite its vast improvements to the original Mark I design, the Crusade armor would nonetheless show flaws in its design. Energy cabling laid exposed on the outer surface of the armor, and the plates of ceramite proved difficult to repair between engagements. In light of this, a new design was configured, the Mark III Armora Ferrum design. Known colloquially as Iron Armor, this new suit of power armor would be much heavier than its predecessor, employing dense frontal armor in exchange for lighter protection at the user's back and joints. Allowing Astartes to engage in heavier frontal assaults, the armor would be fitted with slowed plating to enable the deflection of enemy fire. Excelling in shipboarding and narrow tunnel engagements, this pattern of armor would be heavily endorsed by the 7th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Imperial Fists, approving of its suitability during siege warfare. Yet despite its approval by the Sons of Dawn, other legions would decry its clumsy articulation and the discomfort felt when using it in battle. The Mark IV Maxim design of power armor would address some of these issues. Fitted with larger inflexible plates of armor, the Maxim would prove to be much easier to maintain and produce. Relocating the armor's power cables safely under the plates would also reduce the amount of cabling used overall. This armor variant would also bear resemblance based on the new Mark III helmet design. Though with the betrayal of Horus Lupercal and the treacherous legions of Adeptus Astartes at his side, new patterns of power armor would be utilized, all with the express intent of being used to combat Astartes. The Mark V Heresy era of power armor would be utilized extensively during the Horus Heresy. Less a coherent design or pattern, and rather a conglomeration of designs, Mark V would be characteristically a mixture of variations of the Mark IV and future Mark VI and rarely Mark VII prototype parts. with the addition of armored wrist seals and a variation of the Terminator-class armor's helmet design. Production Mark V power armor would better suit the needs of Astartes in their war against their brethren. Non-production salvaged armor variants would also arise during the Heresy, with Mark V design cannibalizing parts from Mark II, III, and beyond. Its armor employing heavily studded molecular bonded points to add weight and bulk to the density of the armor. As a result, the armor would have weaknesses caused by its power output, Astartes often having to choose between reducing their armor's power levels or allowing for the armor to overheat, causing massive discomfort when in use. As such, the armor's cabling would prove to be its main weakness, once again being exposed to damage due to its added bulk. Yet before the end of the Horus Heresy, another pattern of power armor would be synonymous with the conflict, Mark VI Corvus pattern armor. Named after its benefactor, Primarch Corvus Corax. The Mark VI would be built with dual-tech circuits to allow for greater internal redundancies and failsafes. Its cabling concealed by its clean yet practical design, the armor would prove versatile and iconic for its newly added Mark IV helmet variant. The Mark VI would by the end of the conflict be the single most numerous pattern of power armor used by every Adeptus Astartes Legion, and gain further reputation during the subsequent scouring. Its iconic beaked helmet garnering the Astartes Legions the nickname amongst the simpleton green-skinned orc species as Beakies. Though with the end of an era for the Imperium of Man, the Adeptus Astartes would need to be armed to face a new malignant foe spread across the galaxy. Their traitorous brothers held in thrall to the powers of chaos. With the interring of the Emperor of Mankind upon the Golden Throne, all subsequent variants of power armor would bear the Imperialis upon their breastplate, the symbol of humanity's duty to protect his Imperium, first adorned on the Mark VII Imperator armor. Also known as Aquila armor due to the Loyalist campaign badge standing proud upon its chest, this mark of armor would abandon the use of the studded right shoulder design, adding an improved helmet variant and improved knee joint articulation. Compatible with the Mark VI Corvus variant of power armor, the Mark VII allowed its users to combine armor elements from the two to optimize the user's needs in battle. Soon thereafter, the Imperium would produce the Mark VIII Errant class of power armor. Exceedingly rare, the Mark VIII would never be mass-produced, but given to officers amongst the Loyalist legions. Used extensively by the Xenos hunting organization, the Death Watch, the Mark VIII would allow for much greater range of movement. Adding extra rib joint protection, the Mark VIII would also feature a raised gorget to protect the user's neck from injury. And with the dawn of the Indomitus Crusade and the return of Primarch Roboute Guilliman, a new generation of power armor would be deployed amongst the Imperium. Enabled by the genius mind and ingenuity of Archmagos Dominus, Belisarius Cawl. The Mark X Primaris armor would prove to be the pinnacle of Astartes manufactured power armor. Eschewing the simple black carapace fitting of standard power armor, the Mark X would interface with an undersuit exoskeleton. The synthetic muscle of the suit allowing for greater strength, speed, and giving the user an airtight seal of extra protection against radiation and toxins. Produced in many variations, the Primaris power armor would allow for specialist ranks within the Astartes to fulfill their duty with added vigor. Tacticus armor would be assigned to intercessor squads, reimagining the Mark IV faceplate. Tacticus armor's angled plates allow for deflection of small arms. Fitted with abdominal and ankle reinforcement, the armor would also repurpose the raised gorget of the Mark VIII, also allowing for the addition of optional tacit plates being fitted to the Astartes belt for added protection. Gravis heavy armor is deployed primarily by heavy intercessor and aggressor squads, providing unmatched protection against the enemies of his Imperium. Phobos armor is adopted by Primaris Vanguard squads. Designed to be completely silent when in motion, Phobos armor excels during espionage and stealth operations. Yet with this overview, there also exist highly specialized and individually constructed designs of power armor. The Grey Knights of the 666th Legion utilize Aegis armor. Woven with psychoconductive filaments and amulets, Aegis armor wards against the demonic forces of chaos, using its inscribed protective prayers and hexagrammic wards. There also exists Artificer armor, uniquely crafted power armor given to high-ranking specialists. From chapter masters to tech marines and even primarchs, Artificer armor is the pinnacle of Astartes power armor, regardless of the generation with which it is forged. Highly customizable and crafted without peer, Artificer armor is retrieved from its fallen bearers and reused during a chapter or legion's lifetime. Such is the pedigree of its craft, now lost to time. With some chapters such as the Space Wolves and Blood Angels customizing the armor into new variants, such as the 6th Legion's Aetheric armor, or the 9th Legion's Gilded armor of the Sanguinary Guard. And though there are other variations of armor employed by the Imperium of Man, his angels bear it with the most fervent pride. Its many forms, constructions and adornments an extension of their will. And for those foolish enough to face humanity, they shall crumble beneath its mighty armored boot. For the Omnissiah provides many gifts, and the Emperor protects.